So,
are we recording?
You've been, I started a paladin in Baldur's Gate.
What is this Baldur's Gate you speak of?
You know what Baldur's Gate is. Don't act like you ain't this.
Is he a dragonborn?
No, not a dragon.
Tiefling?
I started a high elf paladin.
Oh,
High elf.
He's a paladin from the desert and hates sand.
How much
so
weed
much
does an
fun.
elf need to smoke to be high?
a lot.
All of it.
Precisely
Can't
as
root.
much as he needs to.
Okay.
Gandalf is not an elf, I don't believe.
All
But I
right,
get the
great.
joke.
He's a
We ready to start
Maiar.
this thing?
Yeah.
I did start it.
Okay.
I
Well,
thought
then,
Gandalf was captain of the Enterprise.
shut up and let me do the thing.
No, that's his boyfriend.
Mandolf?
Whose boyfriend? Mandolf.
Welcome to the Loose Screws podcast.
Mandolf
This is
Rainbow.
episode. Shut up. Welcome to the Loose Screws podcast. This is episode 199 for August 28th,
It's 199.
3309.
2023!
Play the guitar. All right.
Space, the final frontier. Oh,
Welcome,
Wrong
everybody.
show.
I'm your host, Teflon.
12.
I have hijacked this podcast once again.
By hijacked, meaning he had his arm twisted until he agreed to do it.
Basically,
did.
yes.
Kind of. Okay. So, joining me today, starting off, let's go. We got Blooming Wind.
Hello.
All right. Also, Commander Grover Kiwi.
Hello.
Say that again, Grover.
Hello.
Commander Lark Shadow is here.
Space buddies!
We also got Chig.
Chig is just going to say hi and stuff. I was out of town all weekend. I did my Renaissance Festival thing. I'm tired and I haven't played Elite all week, so I'm not going to be that dick that shows up and talks about a game I haven't played. That'll be Teflon's job. And so I'm going to bail out. Just wanted to say hi to everybody, and I'm looking forward to listening to the show tomorrow with the group that's here. And I believe you guys are probably going to have a Boobtron hop in just randomly in the middle of the show, too. So this should be a good one. I look forward to listening to it, and it's in good fucking hands. It's in Teflon's hands.
it's gonna be fine.
Well,
This
it's
is fine.
in a pair of hands.
It's in hands. All right. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go just zone out and do D&D
sleep.
stuff. Bye.
Okay, so Chig's gone, but we also have Commander, Lieutenant Commander, Doctor Data.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
And now I'm in charge, so you know what that means.
I am the current bull of the woods, if you will.
Oh, here we go.
We don't have to talk at all. It's all gonna be sounds tonight.
It's just memes all the way down.
You're going to do what I say. You're going to listen to me. No. Okay.
So anyways,
So, Blooming Wind, tell me what you've been up to, bud. What's up?
Hey, how are you? Now, so I had little Blooming Wind fell with a ear infection all last week. So, I mean, I've never seen a 17-year-old boy cry. He was absolutely miserable at the beginning
oh,
of the year.
that sucks.
Yeah,
I'm
missed
so
3 days.
sorry, man.
Yeah, he missed 3 days of school. I mean, and it was just rough. And then he turned it around, and ended up being well enough to go to the Guns N' Roses concert this past weekend. So
Well,
he
that's
and his
good,
buddy,
at least.
yeah, he and his buddy did that, and now he's like trying to catch up. Mrs. Bloomingwind started a new semester of her doctorate today, so we had to carpool. And that was
Wonderful.
yeah, that was fun because she was going to go out tonight, and then said, "No, I want to go home." I'm like, "Great, that way I don't have to. I can make the podcast." So, yeah, and then I'm on call tonight, so that's going to be fun if I get interrupted, but that's okay.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, we understand.
Indeed.
Yep. And then in game, I spent most of the last week doing BGS stuff, which we'll talk about in Squadron Update. And then Saturday night, Daxie and I shot rocks together, which was a lot of fun. So I've never mined with another human being. Yeah, I've never mined with another human being before. So that was pretty cool.
I like doing that wing mining because you get so much more things like that. So that's always fun.
Yeah,
Data was the first one I ever wing mined with.
Yeah, we did that a few times.
Yeah.
Lots of pretty lasers out there.
He had his Anaconda. Yeah, he had his Anaconda, and I had my T10, and learned something from Lark Shadow just a couple of minutes ago. Apparently, the reason why a whole bunch of my Prospector limpets just skunk is because there's a bump on the bottom of my T10 that I didn't know about that gets in the way.
Oh my!
So like the Anaconda, the T10 actually has 2 cargo hatches, but only uses 1. And that second bump is the forward cargo hatch. And if you have any kind of asymmetric thrust at all, that Prospector will hit it like 100% of the time.
I had a case where I put on one of the ship kits, I think the hazard ship kit on a Python, and it killed every single prospect.
Oh, Lord.
That's not surprising at all.
Best update ever.
Speaking of the person who was just talking, Grover, what you been up to, buddy?
Not a lot, just a lot of work in personal life and doing things with the girl in the weekends, like making paper mache volcanoes.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
it does.
Actually, it is. I've ordered a case fan with with red LEDs in it, which I'm going to put inside, and then put like crepe paper attached to it, and turn it on. So when it turns on, it pushes the crepe paper up through the hole in the middle, and that will be the volcano erupting.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Cool. Yeah,
it's probably not going to work at all, but it's going to be fun.
Yep,
that's half the fun.
When parents take over kids' homework projects.
Oh, that's just called dad goals.
Yeah, right. Half the fun is when it doesn't work and you're like, why is it not working? Or if it works the first time, why is it working?
Yeah.
And then they learn why daddy swears.
It works the first time, and then when it comes down to the show, it doesn't work, and you're like, ah.
And then they learn why daddy drinks. Yeah, but in game, I have almost completed the tourist beacons, the Michael Brooks ones. I got out to Takeover and the Pleiades a couple of days ago, and then spent a couple of days running around the Pleiades. There's one more tourist beacon, and that's out by Barnard's Loop-ish somewhere, and so it's going to take me a little bit to actually navigate there. So I decided to come back to the bubble. I'm just in Karma at the moment, and outfitted my Aspects as a little mining ship, and I'm going to try and find Lark and do some mining with him, so he can take all my gold or whatever he's mining, and I'll keep the mats.
So he can take all your monies?
Yep, I don't need the monies.
So yeah, my Aspects, I built it for the first distant screws, and then when we came back, I refitted it for mining, and that was my first mining ship, was using my Aspects. I named it Workhorse for that reason. And
I've never used one before, but I had it on hand, so I thought, oh yeah,
absolutely. Lark Shadow,
yo,
what's up?
Not much, broski.
In his house. What you been doing?
Do that. I am way too much of a nerd to pull that off. Not much is going on. And out mining in my T10, it's actually been nice. Nice breakup from what we're normally doing between the war and everything else. That the Imperials were suddenly like, you know what this world needs? More statues of us. And I cannot wait for Bard's segment. I don't know if that's in it, but I still can't wait for it.
Oh, it's always great. So that's always one of the things I most look forward to about the show, even when I'm not on. I always say I don't listen to the show, but I do.
Nice. But yeah, that's basically all that's been going on. My life's been very boring, and I'm actually grateful for that.
Yeah, I wish I had that right now. Data, Mr.
Hello.
Android, tell us about Dark Souls.
Oh man, still having fun. I'm sitting at a bonfire right now. I think we talked about this a little bit before we hit record. I hit the first Bell of Awakening, so I think I'm just about beat the game.
No,
Why are you laughing?
because you're not even close.
Oh man.
Data's like,
That-
why are you so mean?
But that boss was really hard. The Bell Dragons, that was like the final boss, right? They're really hard.
The gargoyles.
Yeah. Yeah.
No man. No man. Like a seasoned Dark Souls player can do that in about 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not trying to take away from your achievement. Like it's hard the first time. Like it's hard the first time, but once you get it down, it's a pattern that you can run that pretty fast.
Yeah. So right now, I'm working my way through the depths is the next place. I am powering up my pyromancy right now.
Oh, you're
And-
using pyromancy?
Yeah.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
Are you playing the remastered or are you playing the original version?
Remastered.
I don't know how it is in remastered, but I know in the original version, like, the meme was, you level up your pyromancy and you walk through the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm realizing now. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get this upgraded more.
Turns out
Yeah.
fire is the great equalizer they advertised.
Yeah.
Well, I will give you a hint. There is a guy in the depths. You probably found him.
Yeah.
Who's a pyromancer? Okay.
Yep.
And there's another one when you get to Blighttown. You want to watch out for. They're kind of tucked away, so you're gonna have to look around. By the way, you're gonna love Blighttown. If you thought the Bell Gargoyles were hard, Blighttown's like Disneyland, buddy. All sorts of a whole theme park full of suffering.
So I've only watched people play the game, and I know that Blighttown is Disneyland if the Nazis won.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys ever saw the Keanu Reeves movie, Constantine, when he played Constantine.
Yeah.
Underrated movie.
And it is. And at the end, when the spoiler for the end of Constantine came out in like 2007 or 2006. When he's face to face with the devil, and he's like, "Sonny, I got a whole theme park planned for you." What he meant was Blighttown.
Wow.
That's what it is. It's Blighttown. Blighttown is the devil's theme park.
Wow. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna have a ball, buddy. I remember my first time in Blighttown.
So I'm bouncing back and forth between Dark Souls and Baldur's Gate 3, which was gifted to me by a dear friend. So I'm a few hours into that game.
What'd you pick? What'd you play as? Where you starting as?
A half orc barbarian.
Nice. What kind of barbarian, or are you leveled up enough to pick one?
I'm not. I'm only level 2 or 3.
Okay, so you haven't got to pick your subclass yet.
Yeah, I'm going for a goody two shoes, like guy that looks really mean, but he's actually really nice. That's my guy right now.
Respect that.
So yeah, I've got a lot of time ahead of me in between these two games. That's for sure.
Absolutely, they're both large RPGs. As for me, I have not played Elite Dangerous this week just because it's been a rough couple of weeks. I don't really want to get into it, but I've had some pretty serious stuff going on, and that's about all I'll say about it. So hopefully things will be better soon.
Sending internet hugs.
Thank you. But so I don't know if I'd mentioned this last week. I don't think I did because it was like an anniversary show. But the kids started school, but right before school started, we had an open house, and David was talking to his science teacher there, and she was like, "Are you excited for science this year?" He's like, "Yeah." But what do you want to learn about science? I don't know, science stuff.
How old is he?
He's 14.
Oh gosh, that explains it. Never mind.
But then we got to the history teacher, right? And he was like, he said, "What are we going to learn about this year?" No, we're probably going to start around Jamestown. Like, oh yeah, we're going to learn about the Revolution. Yes. And Boston Tea Party. Yes. And the Oregon Trail.
Nice.
That's
Yes.
what he's interested
Do you know
in.
the Oregon Trail had a video game? Yes, we're going to play it. He said, "I played it once. I died of dysentery." He's very big into history, which
Oh, good.
go figure. That's me and his mother.
Gotta
No,
nurture that.
he's lucky to have dysentery. It was always malaria for me.
By the way, called me a nerd earlier. I will have you know, one thing we did this week was we put up these new bookshelves in the living room, so we could bring more of our books out of storage. And man, my wife made the comment today. She said, "You know, this is what happens when two book nerds marry each other. We are filled with books. We have so many books, and we're all the time looking to buy more books. This is what
This is
happens."
the worst thing in the world to move is a box full of books.
Well,
So heavy.
we did that part. Now we get to make them look pretty and
Good.
read them. But yeah, so we have this big shelf in the living room now, right behind me. If I had a webcam, I'd show you. It's full of books, and we're gonna go buy more books because, of course, it's like a crack addiction.
Hashtag
Better for your
books.
heart than a crack addiction.
I imagine it is. I played a little bit of Baldur's Gate. I started a paladin just to kind of like differentiate a little bit and take a break. I'm gonna get back to my main guy soon because he just entered Act 3. But I haven't played it in a couple days just because stuff's been going on. But enough about that. Why don't we do a squadron update? And we'll let Looming win do that just as soon as I find the thing.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
Alrighty, we have a war pending in Yen T, which is an anarchy system controlled by our friends, the Brotherhood of Terra Mater. We'd like to win that, I suppose. Calarum is a hot mess in perpetuity. Right now, we're trying to get After Dark Initiative into a conflict with Project Elite to lock them up, but I think the two of them are playing a game of ratcheting up and then locking influence so that our influence comes down again. Details for Calarum, you can always ask Obl1v1ous. He's been running the show there. There's trouble looming in Tamor. So we just lost a war in Tamor with the After Dark Initiative because somebody is using them as a puppet. What happened today was that a third place faction, Tamor Allied and Company, had a huge surge, and they are also a Federation faction. They're not a player faction, but they're a Federation faction.
Freaking Fednex.
Yep, which gets me to what I want to talk about. In the last month or so, we've been seeing some active resistance within ScrewSpace. Our war for control of BD44 was a war where we had to fight it twice to win. And we had to put up some pretty serious numbers, 30, 40, 50 CZs. And then in Tamor, we've had a non-aggression pact with the real After Dark Initiative, and I don't think they're even playing the game anymore. We haven't been able to find them anywhere, and they haven't said anything when we've engaged in conflicts with them. But there's been a series of conflicts in Tamor where somebody is taking all of our holdings and taking advantage of this non-aggression pact. So we just had a war in Tamor, and we thought, you know what? Let's see what happens. And we were putting up 30 combat zones, or about 30 or 40 CZs per day, and we ended up losing 4-2. So
good crap! I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, it was that bad. And so somebody is, messing with us, and it's somebody is using, Federation player or Federation minor factions to do it. So the little role play element, but whoever's doing it, they're flying in solo. Because I've been moving around in systems trying to figure this thing out, and I don't see anybody ever. It's like crickets. So as we're working on trying to take control of another system up in upper ScrewSpace, I anticipate we're going to see a little more resistance there. We saw resistance in Iraq. We tried to take over. We were rising in influence rapidly, and then there was this stall, and we were putting in tons of influence points, and it was just this stall until we were finally able to overcome it. So somebody doesn't like us, and somebody hasn't owned up to telling us that they don't like us. And if they don't like us, that's fine, but I would at least like to know who doesn't, so that we could engage them and have a proper dialogue with them. So if you're listening, because I know you look at our Discord, whoever you are, feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy to open up diplomatic channels, or at least have a nice smoldering Cold War with rules of engagement. So you heard it here first. And that is our squadron update. Details are always available daily in the Stating Orders channel. They're coming in later now because the ticks are coming in later, and then the updates from the ticks are coming in later. So sometimes when I'm wrapping up at work, I'll look and nothing's updated. So sometimes the standing orders come in at 7. But if I have a sense of what's going on, I'll try to send some suggestions before then.
I would also like to point out that I am always willing to engage in diplomacy by letting people know just how good cannons are.
Yes. Yeah, we appreciate your cannons. Thank you so much, Lark Shadow. Cannon
back,
away.
buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the update. So I think that leads us to the Tin Hat Aim Express with Blame the Bard. You guys ready for that?
Do it.
My body is ready.
On the board, the Tin Hat Aim Express!
You know you lack journalistic integrity when you spout nonsense like that.
I never once claimed to have integrity.
But you are reporting on the news.
Right. Reporting on the news, not reporting the news itself. I'm a pundit with an agenda.
Can this agenda of yours be sold to the highest bidder?
I follow the Bellathor philosophy.
The what?
Everything's for sale, my friend. Everything. If I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second.
I see. So nothing, including human trafficking, is off the table then? How enlightening.
Keep talking like that and you're going on another trip to the basement.
Please, Daddy, don't hit me. I'm just a mindless robot.
That's better. I have news to talk about. Fun fact, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to add that skit. The TTS tool did not want to read those lines. Might have to tone down future episodes. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program. August 22nd, the case against Calico Zack. Vindictive journalist with an axe to grind publishes scathing hit piece on the Federation's best and, let's be real, only possible presidential candidate. In fact, we should be referring to Zack Rackham as president-elect, because he is the future of the Federation, the leader they need, the leader to correct the course, the leader of humanity.
Yes, I'm a simp.
We're no strangers to love.
August 25th. Deliveries requested to commemorate Duval family. While the Federation is undergoing elections, the Empire is building solid gold statues of their leaders.
Why?
And you know, all of this is going on with the xenological crisis right on the doorstep. Well, no, more like in the garage of human-controlled space.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are going to be okay.
Well, anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Have fun out there.
I don't know why there was an echo, but it made it so much better.
It was fantastic. Oh, as always. I love that we got a little Rickroll in there too. He's always funny.
Never gonna give you up.
If you think I'm not gonna clip that, I'll probably forget. Anyway.
That's okay. You're a clip.
So, what do we got now? What do you guys think?
From the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
That's right. Thanks, Macho Man. Moving on.
I have a fun bug to report, since that's normally in this section.
Oh, you want a bug report? All right, hold on. I'll give you one of those.
Waiting for Salt.
I don't see the bug report thing, so I'm just going to do this.
Thick thyroid booty.
Go on.
You know what? Close enough.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm in control. Not him. He's not here. Trax ain't here.
So I haven't been mining in like forever, and this CG has got me out mining just because it's something different. And I was like, oh yeah, I missed this part of the game. And that aside, I haven't mined since the new lighting engine has been put in with Odyssey. Now, when you shoot a subsurface missile at an asteroid and it goes in and deploys the drill and starts drilling down, if I have my headlights on my ship, all of the dust particles light up and I'm basically flashbanging myself the whole time it's drilling.
Like if a strobe light was left on. That's what it looks like.
It's so bad and it's so funny.
That is pretty.
Like it's not game breaking, it's more of an annoyance, but I rarely have stuff like that happen to me, so I thought I'd bring it up.
You can't see the asteroid. It's totally hidden behind the cloud. It's opaque.
I'm just focusing so hard on the stupid drill mini game in the lower left.
Working as intended.
You're right. This fucking. So.
Oh yeah. That aside, there's no good hotspots left here, Grover. Let's find a different system. I'm open to suggestions.
Oh, you need platinum and gold and stuff, eh? Let's broadcast it. Actually, this isn't live, isn't it? So no one can come in.
Yeah,
shoot
no,
it.
yeah, no one. No one can come.
Wait in a while.
You're stuck in here with me. No one can hear you until tomorrow. So would you guys like to do some ranking?
Yeah.
I still have my stream going. I want to, so you guys can watch, can have a visual. What we decided to do, because we are low on content at the moment, as far as news in the game and things like that, we're going to do a ranking of the ships in Elite Dangerous. We have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. And not to worry, I will post this in the Discord after the show so that everybody who listens can see how we rank these things and tell us
wrong
why we're wrong.
I'm sure no one will disagree at all.
Yeah, right? It's a very forgiving community. So, I don't know if you guys are looking, but let's start with the first one on here. The Imperial Eagle. Tell me where should we rank this and why? Who wants to start?
Personally believe the Imperial Eagle would be somewhere in the C or B tier. And the reason for that is not just because it's a small ship, but because it's a small ship that feels extra small inside, almost even more so than its federal cousin. I don't know why that is. That's just how I feel about that Eagle. It is fast. It is fun. But I think its lack of size and the optionals is holding it back.
I agree. I like my Imperial Eagle, and it's fun to fly, but I've yet to find a real sweet spot of use for it. Other than combat is always fun, but I haven't really found a good build that I really like with it in order to keep it around or to use it very often. So I think C tier is a good spot for it. What do the rest of you guys think?
I mean, I have one sitting on jacks on my fleet carrier, so I haven't finished putting it together. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a project, and I haven't decided what to do with it. I think I'm going to just have it go 900 meters per second boosting and just fly around really fast and have no other use for it, because I can't think of another use for it. So, I mean, probably C tier for me.
Yeah, that's about where I land. Yeah.
A racing ship sounds about right for it. It's not as fast as a Viper, I don't suppose, but
it almost gets up there.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. We have a Sidewinder. The Sidewinder.
S for Sidewinder.
I don't think a Sidewinder needs to go in S. If anything,
S for Sidewinder.
I would put it in the D tier, and here's why. It's the starting ship. It's meant to get you going. It can handle any one of the three kind of big gameplay loops to kind of get you started making some money. So it's, you can use it for low-level bounty hunting or low-level mining or low-level trading runs until you can afford to get something a little bit better. And when I say a little, I mean a little. And I think it's kind of like it's a good beginning workhorse, but I still want to put it down in the D tier because I think just because it's that first starting tutorial ship, I think that's about where it ranks.
As for Sidewinder,
kind of the least capable ship, but I think the nostalgia value bumps it up a bit. And when you do die and you don't have enough insurance, it's your A tier.
And that's true. I could bump it up if and feel free if you guys think I should move something up a little bit or up to a different tier. Just go voice it. Feel free to voice that. This isn't just my rank. This is our ranking. So
yeah, the other nice thing about it is, like, if I'm going to Shinra to buy a new ship, I'll fly because I'm incorrigibly cheap, I will fly my Sidewinder from my fleet carrier to Jameson Memorial because it's the cheapest one to ship back, even though I've got like 14 billion in the bank. So it's a cheap shipping ship.
It is. I guess that little bit of utility, I could bump it up a little bit to a C tier. Okay with everybody.
If it's not S for Sidewinder, it has to be D for Delightful.
All right. Well, then let's see. Who thinks it should be?
I think it should be C because I don't actively hate it.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
I mean, that is a good point too. Because I can tell you where I'm going to put the Type 9 starting at, because I actively hate it. Anyway. We all good with the C tier?
C.
Yeah. I will accept.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing is the Viper Mark III variant. I would say it is probably one of my favorite ships, and it's very fast, and it's a great fighter. So I'm going to start it off in A tier here. It has a lot of nostalgia for me because this was my ship, my first ship after the Sidey, and it was what I really learned how to make money on my own in the game after my friend was teaching me. My friend Dan was teaching me how to play and how to make money and how to upgrade my ships and how to swap out parts and things like that. And this was my first ship after the Sidey that I used for bounty hunting and for for bounty hunting. So what do you guys think?
I've never really used a Viper until just recently. What's the main difference between the 3 and the 4?
The 4 is more like a Cobra. The 3 is a straight up fighter.
4 is beefier, a little beefier.
Yeah, it's a little beefier. It's got a little bit more armor.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute, but I would honestly
not quite as fast.
I would honestly put the Mark III as a B, and the reason for that is while I do really like the Mark III and I have a ton of paint jobs for it, I never use it. Like, I'll go back and I'll still use my Viper Mark IV, my Adder. Sometimes I'll hop in a Cobra or even my Sighty. I never go back to the Mark III, and I think that's what makes it a B for me.
Yeah, I will say, as much love as I have for the Mark III, I haven't used mine in quite some time. So maybe I maybe I could bump it down to a B tier. What do the rest of you guys think?
It does very well as a racing ship. That's what I got it mine spec to whatever crazy speed it is, 900 meters per second.
I feel like that's probably what it's. I feel like it's probably what it's best at. Is it goes fast when you have everything stripped down. I do believe there was a thing where it was the fastest ship. We could bump it down to a.
Yeah,
we can bump down to a B.
I mean, I got it with Sting because I don't have one. So I don't know, but I don't have one, so that would knock it down to a B from an A for me. Because I haven't, like, oh my gosh, I gotta have one of those.
Right.
Okay.
So where would you guys like to place the Viper Mark IV? I'm just going to put it here while we discuss it.
Bear in mind, I'm fighting a freaking elite challenger while I say this, but I would honestly put whatever we end up putting the Mark IV in, we have to put the Cobra in the same class. Because when it comes down to it, freaking piece of crap. When it comes down to it, they are honestly a very similar ship. The Viper Mark IV has just as much room, but in a different way than the Cobra. It's not as fast as the Cobra, but more than makes up for that with how tough it is. For crying out loud, I've tanked 2 Pythons in my Mark IV and came out of it still ahead of them on armor. And it has the same amount of it has the same amount of hard points as the Cobra does. Someone else talk.
You're doing great.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Because I have never owned a Mark IV Viper, so I think it's garbage, trash tier. Because I don't personally like it.
So that's a vote for D tier.
Yeah.
And I will say, I've also darn it, he escaped, but at least I made him run away. I will also say that I have actually done a 1v1 against Trax, who was flying a Cobra on one of the distant cruise trips. And I think if I was as good a pilot as him, aka if Trax was flying both ships, I really think the Viper Mark IV would have come out on top simply because of the toughness. I will freely admit I'm crap at combat. I just like doing it.
Okay, so where are we ranking this at?
I would say Mark IV is A because I have a feeling that's where the Cobra Mark III is going to go to.
I'm good with that.
I have no objections.
I'm just
okay. Well, then I will move it to A here.
Yeah, and anyone feel free to friggin' argue with me on that because I am very biased about the Mark IV. I love that ship.
What about the Vulture? That's what we got next. What do you guys think about that?
Ooh, Vulture.
I'm starting
that's a tough one. Yeah, I would.
That's a real good fighter.
I would think S.
Yeah, it's an S tier fighter, bounty hunting ship.
And I think the reasons why it's S are fairly obvious to anyone that has flown a Vulture.
You like that large hard huh?
Yeah, I'm going to say that again because I forgot to have my pedal going for Inucaster. But yeah, I think it's S tier simply because anyone that's flown it would agree it's S tier, and that's what I'm basing that off of.
Oh, it's definitely S tier.
Yeah. It's I love mine. Got 2 big guns. Yeah.
I use mine as a TIE bomber.
I think it's a really good fast fighter too, and I do like the maneuverability. So I think an S tier is a really good spot for it. So we will move that up to S tier and move on to, let's see. Do we want to keep doing small ships first, or do we want to move on to like medium ships and just catch the other things as we go?
Just grab whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Alphabetical order.
Better stream of consciousness.
Tell me about the Challenger and why it belongs in S tier.
I've never flown one.
I've never flown one either.
Wait,
I'm just
Challenger.
kidding.
Yeah.
I get it confused. I get it confused with the Chieftain all the time.
Yeah, the Challenger is the big, heavy Chieftain. And
Is it? We have the Chieftain, the Challenger, and what's the other one?
The Crusader.
The Crusader, isn't the Crusader the big heavy one that has like the hanger?
The fighter,
right?
Yeah. But so the Challenger, I would say it should probably be an S tier, but I have a reason for why it should be an A tier.
Okay, I want to hear this reason. Yeah.
The reason is the lack of versatility. Those 3 military internals really screw with you, even though you have those 2 size 6s above it. It's still primarily a military ship, and so it's hard to do anything else with it, and that's why I'd put it in A instead of S.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's grounds for A tier. Go ahead, Grover. Tell me your opinion.
It is, because it could be actually all of those ships, Challenger, Chieftain, and Crusader, are all hampered in their versatility by those military slots. So you have to compromise.
Yeah, the S tier, in my mind, is reserved for ships that are either the best at what they do, i.e. the Vulture, or are ships that can literally do anything. At least to me.
I would argue that the Chieftain could be S tier, and that's
yeah.
See, that's what I was thinking was we could put the Chieftain in S tier. I was
we're not on
maybe
Chieftain
Challenger is down. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to say maybe Challenger would be down to. I think I would probably rank it around B or C because I mean I really don't see people use it all that often. Is it really that versatile?
Oh, it is that. It is popular. I would put Challenger A, Chief S, and Crusader B.
I don't know that I would rank Crusader B.
I would
just because it's fun.
We'll get to that one. All right, we'll put the Challenger in. We'll put the Challenger in the A. Now we're going to the Chief, and I am putting it in S tier.
Yeah, Chief is S.
Absolutely.
I love my Chieftain. The only Chieftain I fly is my AX Chieftain, and I enjoy it so much. I have all those freaking like Guardian Gauss cannons on there, and it's just such a hitter when fighting Thargoids.
You know what's funny is I've never actually flown the Chieftain, but I would still put it in S simply because of the amount of NPC pirates that have blown me the crap up when they had no reason winning that fight.
I mean, I could definitely see that. Yeah, I mean, I think the Chieftain's probably the most versatile of all those ships, and I think at least I think it's the most fun to fly, in my opinion. I may only have the AX one, but I could definitely see myself using a Chieftain for more than just AX. I mean, I could definitely see myself flying it around and using it for Hazreses in doing as a mission runner or things like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a great BGS ship because you can put on a Super Cruise Assist, have a vehicle bay, have enough cargo to be running small amounts here and there, and kick ass when someone intercepts you. It's awesome. It's just, yeah, regardless of the paper thin cockpit.
Right. I mean, I've been using mine for bounty hunting. Yeah, I've been using mine for bounty hunting, and I mean, it is a beast. I can, punch really hard and outmaneuver anyone attacking me. I mean, it really flies beautifully. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an S tier, and that doesn't even, touch the whole axe meta that it is, the AX meta. So like everyone uses them for killing Thargoids. So it's a wonderful ship.
All right.
And it sounds phenomenal.
Yes, it has great sound. I mean, like there's no sound I've ever heard in this game that I think is bad. This game, I've said it on here many times. This game has the best sound design of any game I've ever played. So I definitely agree with that. It sounds wonderful. So moving on, let's go with the Asp Explorer, and I'm going to put it at A B
for
tier.
Asp.
A tier.
No, I'm going to put it at B.
B.
A tier. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
So I mean,
so the Asp X was my third ship. So after I left the Nebula in my Cobra, I flew all the way down to Pleiades and back to start the engineering grind. And my next ship that I got was the Asp Explorer, with the whole purpose of eventually making it my Explorer ship. But I was able to use it to mine very effectively. It's a very good multi-purpose ship that can do a lot of different things. And I mean, you can use it for cargo, you can use it for mining, you can use it in combat. It can punch pretty hard, and it's very versatile. But right now I have it as a bubble taxi that can go 65 light years, and so I think it's really A tier.
Yeah, I would say A tier as well, because the Asp Scout the Asp Explorer, I could afford from the second ever exploration I ever tried to do. This was before I even joined Low Screws. And from that exploration trip, I was able to afford the Explorer. And that, while I didn't end up keeping it because it's a great ship, just not a great ship for me, that ship got me in a keelback and in an Asp Scout in like an hour. So it's a great ship. It should be an A.
I could definitely see having it as an A. It was my fourth ship, and it was the one that took me all the way to Beagle Point on the original distance cruise. I had a lot of fun flying it out there, and as I said earlier, when I got back, I refitted it for mining, and it worked out as for my beginning mining when Data was teaching me how to mine, and so yeah, I could definitely see moving it to A, especially given the history as like this. Before engineering, this is what took you all the way across the galaxy. This was the go-to exploration ship.
It's the birth
for many
of the
people.
meme of ship in front of things.
So I mean, it's got a very nice history to it. So I'll put it as an A.
It does, and there's nothing that gives you a better view at the front when you're exploring.
Wrong.
Especially if you've got head tracking.
In fact, you should go to the next ship I'm about to talk about. The reason Grover's wrong is because the Asp Scout has a better view, because the Asp Scout does not have those engine pylons on the side. It runs them underneath the hull instead, so they're out of view. That gives you basically a full fishbowl almost every direction, and I think that's why it has a better view. Is it better at literally anything else? No, but I really like the Asp Scout.
The D tier.
D for delightful.
So yes, the Asp Scout. I don't think I've ever flown an Asp Scout. I don't think I've ever had a reason. I think I've had some bouts in Coriolis where I've tried to find, like when I was looking for ships of what could be certain things, or trying to figure out meme ships or some kind of specialty ship. And I think I've looked at it, but I've never really decided on giving it. I'm not sure exactly what the best use of it is.
I know.
What's that?
Funsies.
Funsies. Well,
So the Asp Scout, one thing that a lot of people do wrong with it, let me start over. One thing a lot of people do wrong with the Asp Scout is they're trying to find, what is this ship good at? And that's the thing. It's really not. Like, I love the ship, and even I'll admit that. The thing you got to realize with the Scout is you're flying a small ship that is the size of a medium ship that handles like a fighter. And so that's how you got to treat it. Is you got to treat it like a small ship. Like if you're going to do BGS work in it, think like, okay, I'm doing this in like a Viper or an Adder or something like that. And if you do that, it's a lot easier to find uses for it and things you can do with it. And it's a lot of fun to do those things with.
I mean, the most experience I have with Asp Scouts is killing them in CZs that I see them in all the time.
Yeah,
they do
blow up
pop
real easy.
very fast.
Yeah.
I like to call it a Klingon bird of prey because its bridge is way out in front and it blows up if you put a torpedo in it.
So does anybody besides Lark Shadow want to move it out of D tier, or is that a good spot for it?
Oh, even I'll admit it's D.
It's D for
It's the nickel back of spaceships.
No, it's not. It's a special kid in the classroom.
It's the Creed of spaceships.
The Creed.
So moving on, since we skipped over this one because Lark Shadow had to talk about the Asp Scout, is the Alliance Crusader, and I'm going to put that as a C ship because I can definitely see why you would pick it. I don't think it's super good at it. I have one, and I have it outfitted for combat, and because I wanted that style of ship with the. It was right after I started. I was on a real big having a fighter bay kick, and so that's why I bought it. But I don't really ever use it anymore. I used it very sparingly at most, and then. I just never found a really good use for it that I.
Sorry, wait, which one is this?
I never found
I got distracted. What was this one?
I was going to say, did we lose Tef?
No, I cut my microphone cut out a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Now we can.
No worries.
Okay. Yeah, my microphone cut out for a second. It's the Alliance Crusader.
Oh, the Crusader. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm down with the Crusader being C tier. I love the ship, but it's very clearly a C because it has some very clear weaknesses. I use it for medium BGS work, to be honest, and it does great at that.
Any other takers on this?
I've never purchased one.
You should, Data. It's fun.
I purchased one and a Crusader one time when I was kind of feeling wealthy at Shindiz. Went to go kit them out and thought, no, this just isn't working. So I went back to my Chieftain.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I after flying the Chieftain, I enjoyed it way more than my Crusader. So, all right, moving on. The Adder Squad. Boy, it's been a few years since that.
Adder Squad should be A. And I'm not just saying that for the memes. That ship is literally a hatchback Cobra. You can do so much with it, and it's fast AF, boy.
I will say I was pleasant when we did the Adder Squad. I bought it specifically for that, for us to do the fight Thargoids as the Adder Squad. And I was actually very impressed with how it flew. And I've always wanted to go back and try more things with it, and I just have never taken the time to do it.
The Adder is your 90s hatchback Civic that you raced up. It's fun as heck.
Oh. Shit. Anyone else have any thoughts on the Adder?
I haven't flown that one either, so I have to trust y'all's judgment. I'm curious. I've been curious.
Well,
I might have to get one if we do another. If we get the Adder Squad back together, I'll buy one.
We're gonna have to do Adder Squad at some, especially because Thargoids are pretty prominent right now. I still don't know that I want to rank it as an A ship, though. I mean, we're only so far into this, and we've already got 4 ships in the level. I think a B. just because it's not popular. I think it, and you don't really see it all that often.
Yeah,
there's one specific thing that relegates it, that makes it not be an A, and it's because it's the space taxi.
Yeah, I can definitely see
so
that.
you rock up to buy a new car, and it's the same as all the taxis. You're not getting an A-class car.
Okay, yeah, I'll relent on that point.
So we'll move it down to B. I mean, maybe we could probably even move it down to C, couldn't we? I mean, I've wanted to go back in and play with it, but like there's a reason. After 1,300 hours in this game, like there's a, I've still never taken the time to do it, so I can't be that terribly impressed with it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You think we should do C or B, you guys?
I think it's B.
I think it's C. I think it's
B.
Okay, but some people will have a great affinity for it, but otherwise it's just average.
What'd you say, Data?
This one's got. Did you guys mention the boost noise?
It's got a really good boost noise.
It does have a boost noise, but I don't know that's enough to carry it back up.
B for boost.
B's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
I think
it's really bad.
Yeah, I think B is fine.
Okay, we'll leave it at B. We only had 2 dissenters, so.
Wasn't an adder squad? Wasn't that the AX squad we put together? Some folks put together.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on into the Federal assault ship.
Y'all want to just hit the 3 Fed ships just real quick, one right after the other? Because, I mean, they're pretty basic as far as how the ships are laid out.
We can do that. I'm going to put the Federal assault ship as an A starting out. Yeah, because I do have some experience with it. It was my first AX ship because I think I had just unlocked it and I was like, I wanted to be different. I was like, so I'm gonna make an AX FAS, and then and I like my FAS. I would love to refit it for some regular space combat rather than just AX. And I also want to refit it with some different AX weapons. And try out some different things with it, but it's really good. I found it really good at face tanking lightning coming off of an interceptor.
It's able to. You can get a lot of armor on it, and I like it.
Yeah, the fast is clearly an A simply because of how much more maneuverable it is than its brothers.
I was very impressed by how well it handled.
The yaw is as fast as the pitch on this ship. It can turn left and right just as fast as it can nose up and down.
I say A for assault ship, D for drop ship, and D for Daka ship.
Well, let's get to that. So the drop shit. I didn't mean to do that.
But there we go.
The Federal drop ship.
Methinks he does protest too much.
Who did we lose?
We lost Looming Wind from
Caster.
The software. We can't hear you.
Looming Wind, are you there? I'm not even hearing him in the Discord.
Yeah, I think Looming Wind either had to go or his internet threw up on itself.
They could be. Well,
it'd be ironic if he had a heart attack.
Hopefully not.
Oh yeah, I mean he did say he was on call. Maybe he had to run.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, no matter what happens, I hope he can make it back.
I'm back.
If not, there it is. You got to rejoin in eCaster.
Maybe. This is great radio.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyways, while he's rejoining, the dropship is clearly a D. I flew a dropship for a very, very long time instead of a Python. It does a good job as a stand-in for the Python, and it can be very, very tough but it can't jump for beans, and the military slots keep getting in the way, and its hard points, while ample, are all on one side of the ship, so it's really hard to get stuff lined up for fixed weapons. So that is a D ship. D for dropship.
Yeah. Yeah. And the FAS is the only one that I've ever owned of the 3 I've ever flown.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the dropship either, so I mean, I think D is where it goes. I mean, nobody ever really uses it. What about the gunship? What do you guys think there?
C. For what it is, it's too slow. It's not as tough as its other brothers, even though it can be. It's harder to get it there, but it's more fun than it has any right to be at the same time. Looming became a robot.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear what he said.
Yeah.
I think he's furiously trying to defend the gunship.
Oh, yes, good point.
Might have to relaunch Discord, Looming. How about we keep the gunship in C, and if or when Looming gets back, he can defend it and we can move it later.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to defer to you guys because I've never flown any of them, but all of them remind me of someone towing a caravan with a motorcycle. That huge body and then the tiny little cockpit stuck on the front.
Right.
Like it's a motorbike and they have a friggin' fifth wheel behind it.
I think
that's great.
Yeah,
we can do this as a part 2 also. We can do a part 2 of this. We don't have to do all these ships tonight.
Yeah,
because we do still have a lot more to go, and I'm sure Chig would love to defend his Crate Phantom, and I know Trax would probably love getting into some of this discussion about ranking ships.
Well, can I just randomly pick a couple ships to put up there?
Are we still talking about the fun ship? Do we have a rank for the federal fun ship?
If you want to talk about the fun ship, you go right ahead.
I absolutely love my federal fun ship. I mean, it flies like a brick, who is our salt father. It flies like a brick, but I mean, it has like all the hard points. And if I just want to just go and just shoot things and shoot more things and just keep shooting things, I don't even run out of ammo because mine's all lasers.
So would you put it B or C?
B. I love that thing.
You know,
mine has more miles than it deserves to have. I mean, I will die on that hill.
You know, I could actually be okay with a B simply because the one thing that ship has that its brothers don't is the fighter bay. And that really evens out the playing field from the slowness that it has.
Yeah, that's another hard point.
Yep. Yeah, I could go for B. I could see that.
Yeah.
B for big bada boom.
Yep. So we're going to move it up to a B from a C?
I would.
Yeah, gunship B.
All right, we might read that again at some if we do in part 2.
You moved the wrong one. You moved the dropship.
Oh, whoops. All right, we'll move that up to a B.
There you go.
Pick the next one, Lark.
I was going to say the Cobra Mark IV, put it in D. No one cares.
No one has it?
No, sorry. I've got
Doesn't
one
Grover
and I
have
love
one?
it.
Yeah, Grover, you
no
feel free to talk about this. You'll be the expert.
No, it's actually okay. It's not a Cobra Mark III, but it's different, and it shouldn't be treated as a comparison because they're different ships. So as it is itself, it's actually a really, really good ship. It flies nicely. It's got decent cargo. It gets hate because lots of poor ass people didn't do the pre-order, and so they can't order it. And that's the only reason it gets hate. I actually got the pre-order for, was it Horizons that you got it when you pre-ordered? I hadn't even been playing the game. I was busy working and doing my masters and watching Obsidian Ant kind of videos and all the time. And I bought the game and I hadn't even played the original. I hadn't even started playing it, so I was surprised when I actually had it. I didn't even know what it was. It was like, oh, what's this one? And I can buy that. What is it?
I will reluctantly
it's a great
relent to
little
Grover's
explorer,
opinion on this.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
wait,
I mean,
real quick. Didn't Jello also fly a Mark IV on the Journey to Evelyn's Light?
I know. I don't know. I know Roy Cookson has one.
Yeah, I knew Roy had one, and I knew Grover had one, but I couldn't remember if Jello was in one as well.
Maybe it kind of rings a bell.
I remember somebody flew a Mark IV on Mission, but I can't remember who it was.
Trex did it in a Mark III.
Correct. Yeah.
So where would you put it then, Grover?
I'd say it's a B. It's it can be a great ship for a whole bunch of things. It's not a tier ship, but it's definitely not a C or a D.
B for haha, you bought it.
I will keep that in mind because it's not listed down here for me to move up. What one
yeah,
do you
it
want
is. It's the Red Cobra on the list.
I don't. Oh, yep, there it is. So B is what we're ranking that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Grover made
So
the
what's the
case.
next one, Lark Shadow?
The other one I would say is the Cobra Mark IV, which is clearly an A.
You mean the Mark
Cobra
III?
Mark III, derp.
Yeah, I'm
and this is
convincing
why
you
we
already.
should break it up into two, because I'm tired.
Yeah, we can
So
stop
I'd
halfway
say the
through.
I would say the Cobra Mark III is an A, just because when you think of a small multi-purpose ship, that's the ship everyone thinks of.
Classic.
It is
I've been
very
flying
much.
one.
The Cobra Mark III is very much an early workhorse. I mean, that's what I used to get the money to buy my Explorer in order to go on the expedition. And it's very versatile and capable of doing all the main loops. So I'm okay with an A. I might even move it to an S tier because it's such a good, one up from a starter.
Yeah,
S for starter ship.
Yeah, I mean it's the ship from 1984, and when you get it out of the box, it flies just like the ship from 1984. I mean, I couldn't get over that. It was like I remember flying this thing, and from a nostalgia factor alone, I mean, it gets a bump up, and then it is probably the most versatile small ship. It can do the most. It's almost a medium ship in what it can do. So it can go pretty fast. It's got some size 4s. It can jump. It's got 4 hard points. I mean, I love that bad boy. So
yeah, just because of its iconic status, it probably should be S. You're right.
Yeah, and everyone should have one in their inventory.
And I have one more ship I'd like to bring up before we call this for today. Unless we're right at halfway, in which case I'll stop.
We're not at halfway yet.
Go for it.
I'd say the keelback.
You want to do the keelback? Okay. Where do you make the case for the keelback?
Personally, even though it does not behave like any of the other ships on that level, even though it's objectively worse than the other ships on that level and other ships that will be on that level, I would put the keelback as S, because that is the only medium ship that you can afford as a new commander that will get you in bigger ships fast.
I'm going to have to disagree with that because, who flies a keelback? I've never seen anybody or heard anybody talk about the keelback like that.
Oh, I love the keelback. That thing has so much soul.
Even the non-player characters don't fly keelbacks.
It's okay. You can be wrong.
No, I've seen people espousing singing the praises of the keelback in some random forums. I mean, it's one of those getting in early ships to, make some cash fast. So, I mean, it's a lot of people's first medium ship, I think. I mean, not any of us, but I mean,
it was my first medium ship.
Yeah. I mean, it's Lark's first medium ship, so I mean, yeah.
I still don't know
there's
that
a
I
reason
would
why
rank
it
it in
shouldn't
the
be
S.
No, it's not an
Go
S
ahead,
tier.
Grover.
No.
Go ahead, Grover.
The reason why it's not S tier is like I tried to kill back after when the pilot was making his videos and everyone fell in love with all the ships. So I tried to kill back because he was kind of raving about it, and then I didn't really get on with it. But I'd already been in like Pythons and the Crate and Phantom, and so it's one of those ships you don't go back to. Whereas some of our other S tier ships, like the Cobra, you can go back to. It can make a great little thing if you're running Hutton mugs around and want to have a decent cargo and land at small pads. But the keelback, I never got on with, and I don't see people would go back and use it in any way after they might use it initially as a stepping stone.
I don't know. To me, I look at the keelback like I would look at a very first car that I've ever owned, in that it's not something I do go back to. And even I'll admit that, but it's something I will always, always have love for, So the nostalgia factor is just so strong with that ship.
My first car was a Nissan Sunny with a 1.3 liter engine, and it smelt.
Mine was an 83 Chrysler Laser with a 2.4 four-banger in it.
Mine was a 1989 Cutlass Sierra. Was my first car.
Nice.
But anyway, I think maybe we put it at C. But like the highest I would really want to go is maybe a B if that's what you guys really want. But I mean, tell me what I should rank it.
I think it's a C.
Yeah.
Y'all are wrong in
like...
your wrongness. It's clearly S.
Lark
All
Shadow's
right. Do you want to do one more?
One over our list.
I'm down for one more, but someone else pick. Grover, you're it. You pick one.
Mamba.
Ooh. I think it's A tier. And the thing that keeps it from being S tier is that it has no mileage. I use it as a BGS ship, and I'm running out of gas all the time. And if your shields break, it's tissue paper. Now, I'm sure Trax would make the case that it's S tier, but I think it just has like a couple of little limits to it. But that ship is fun as hell to fly.
I'm also okay with A for the same reasons. It's just the noise, the ungodly noise it makes when you're boosting or stopping. The fact that I could have a huge cannon just sitting right above my head, it's just, that ship is just so much fun. I love it.
I have flown it a little bit, Mamba. I bought one and tried it out, and I like it. I just haven't gone back to it. I'm really excited to do more with it. I just got to get back to it and engineer it and build more onto it. I think it's a great fast combat ship from what I've seen and from what I've found flying it. Everybody ranks the Fer-de-Lance better, but I like the Mamba, and I know Trax would have some things to say about them here.
Yeah. Like to me, the FDL and the Mamba, it's like the difference between a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. At the end of the day, you're still in a supercar.
All right. So do we want to wrap this up there rather than go through all the ships? And maybe we can do a part 2 of this next week. If there's no news or anything.
Yeah.
We can kind of call things here. I mean, if we have it, we're pretty close.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and count all this and have all that dead air.
We don't need that.
If we haven't, I think we're pretty close to halfway.
We've done pretty well.
Yeah, we're really close.
I think we can go ahead and move on here and start wrapping things up. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
What I think is, where's the cheese at?
So for the cheese, I have I put in this week, instead of having a cheese of the week, I did a cheese fact, and that is this cheese was discovered by accident. Ancient people, more than 7,000 years ago, discovered cheese by carrying milk in the stomach linings of animals. which carried the bacteria in it that curdles milk. And so that's the cheese fact this week.
What a glorious accident.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter.
You got milk in my cow stomach.
Yeah, it doesn't quite come off the tongue as easily, man.
Right.
I want to know who thought to put it in an animal stomach. Like, okay, we got this milk from a cow, I guess. What should we do? Let's put it back in the cow.
Well, I mean, at that point, sausage was probably already a thing, so someone probably thought, hey, liquid sausage.
I imagine ancient people back in hunter-gathering times, or even, were probably used a lot of parts of the different animals. So the stomach lining was just probably something they used for like a water skin, for carrying liquid. It just seemed like a good thing for that.
Oh, yeah. That's absolutely true.
And that's probably where it came from.
Yeah. I mean, and even if they dried them and they cured them and did all sorts of things to the stomachs to make them into a wine skin, those enzymes are still going to be functional. So, I mean, they didn't know anything about enzymology back 7,000 years ago. So,
you don't know. Maybe they had microscopes made out of rocks.
They were
If they did, we've yet to find them.
Like the Flintstones, they just looked around for a rock good enough and, hey, microscope.
Yep.
Speaking of ancient people, did you guys... Go ahead, Grover.
No, just saying I saw the Flintstones as a great documentary.
Jesus. You guys are ridiculous. No, I saw there's some great videos on YouTube about Ötzi the Iceman that they found. Man, that stuff is super interesting. And pre Bronze Age mankind, like Copper Age and the Neolithic era. The farther back I can note about things.
So you're talking
better.
like pre-classical history.
Oh yeah, definitely
nice.
Pre-classical era. Like I just love that stuff. Going back to the city of Uruk. Even before Babylon, or around the same time as Babylon. I just love going back there.
You don't know. Maybe they called it Uruk.
They could have, for all I know.
Or Uruk.
By the way, one thing I noticed, and since we're wrapping this up, just a good thing to kind of just relax and talk about. My wife made me aware of this week is that if you go onto Harvard's website, I just Googled it when she told me about it. Is you can Harvard has free online classes that you can take. I mean, you can pay for a certificate. I think it's like $180 at the end of it if you want one. But they just have some free classes for learning things that they put on, and there's a lot of really good ones up there that are very interesting. There's one on modern classical literature, and then there's another one on ancient classical literature, which I'm really thinking about taking. And all kind of stuff from they have web coding and game development classes on there for free that you can take. It's all self paced. It tells you about how long it should take, things like that. I haven't clicked on one to really read into it yet. I've only just started looking into it, but if you are interested in learning anything like that, or at least checking it out, you should Google it. Just Google Harvard free courses or free online courses, and go to the Harvard website there, and you should be able to find them. There's a lot of really interesting stuff on there.
And we should all get a certificate from Harvard just so we can act as smart as Blooming and Data.
And George
It's as easy as that.
It's all available for free on the internet.
They have a course on omens, oracles, and prophecies. An overview of divination systems ranging from ancient Chinese bone burning to modern astrology.
Cool.
I wonder if they have something on the rummaging through entrails.
Probably. That's probably a
Jeez.
chapter in there.
Yeah.
While you guys are talking about that, I'm going to go boot up Tefbot.
Yeah, I think now is when you spin him up. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so just before that happens,
the engine this time.
just before
So
that happens, I'm going to wish all the fathers in New Zealand and Australia. It's Father's Day this Sunday, this part of the world. So happy Father's Day. Enjoy your time.
Father's Day.
Happy Reverse Father's Day.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Kiwi.
Thank you.
Teflon bot loading. Teflon bot loading.
You're a Teflon bot.
If you like the show, please rate and review on your podcast player, which helps people find this show. Join us on Discord at discord.io/loosescrews and check out the merch store at loosescrews.ed. Error. loosescrewsed.com for mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/loosescrewsed. Shut up, Lark Shadow. I can't do that.
Everyone have a good day. Say
All
bye.
right. So yeah, I will wrap this up. Not you. I'm in charge. I'm in charge.
Standing
I
down.
have power now. So yes, that's going to do it for us this week. I want to thank Blooming Wind and Grover and Lark Shadow and Data for joining me on here. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
And sorry that it's been kind of a weird show as far as like audio issues and things. I'm sorry, Trax. I tried my best.
You did great.
And thanks for Chig for starting us out and all this free power he gave. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.